Greetings, Goddess Body Mind Spirit community. This is Tyra Milade, your goddess guru, your sister friend. And you know I love helping women align with their life purpose using the power of ancient wisdom and the goddess-centered lifestyle. And I just want to come in today and share a little bit with you about the astrology for the week. And yeah, I'll do an oracle reading and yeah, just share a little bit to help support you through the rest of your week into next week. So come on, goddesses. Where's the G Hive? Let's do this. All righty. All righty, goddesses. So yeah, I just want to let you all know that I couldn't do a live today. I mean, I guess I could. I just don't really have the energy thanks to me waiting to the last minute to work on my taxes. Those who are in the Inspired Goddess community know that I've been posting about me and my taxes. um if you want to join my Inspired Goddess community, it doesn't cost any money to be there. You just have to be on my email list, or if you've like gotten a freebie or something, I just don't make it open to the public because I don't want a bunch of creeps there. For whatever reason, people love coming to where women are and just doing things that ain't right. And I'm doing all I can because it's a private community. So I have to be the gatekeeper of the community. So join me there by getting on my email list. It's the easiest way. Anywho, yeah, so I don't have a lot of energy today, but I didn't want to go without sharing something. And so I will do that. Let me also let you know that for those who are interested, I know this may not be everybody's jam because my focus is largely goddess, but some of you are interested in getting your elekes. And so, yeah, okay, I've got to find this little graphic so I can take it down. So, if you're interested in getting your elekes are connected to the Ifa tradition, which is out of Nigeria, West Africa. You know, it's not just Nigeria, but it's mostly known through Nigeria. And um, those of us who are here in the diaspora oftentimes want to reconnect with our Afro roots because our spiritual traditions, our languages, so much of our culture was ripped away from us, our ancestors, I should say, due to the transatlantic slave trade. And so there's so many people who want to become a part of this tradition, this religion. I do like calling it a religion, even though it's probably like the least organized religion I've ever been a part of. But I like to say that because my thing is we're going to put some respect on Afro traditions. They've been given such a bad rap. They're looked at as evil when in all actuality, so much of the world is based on these Afro traditions. I'm also a avid student and practitioner of spirituality out of ancient Kemet, also known as Egypt. And so there's some power, there's some beauty, and a whole bunch of the world is based on these traditions. But people are afraid to just work with anybody, just like in any spiritual setting. I'll say it this way: you're gonna have the ones who are tried and true, and they really want to teach you and help you, and then you have the ones that are charlatans. They take advantage of people, and this religion is a little bit it's unfamiliar. And so sometimes it's difficult to really know, are you working with somebody who is going to be ethical and just do their job and help you to understand how to be a practitioner of the spiritual tradition? Or are you dealing with someone who's a charlatan? And so I typically, this is not what I lead with because I lead with working with the goddess. But yeah, the current situation in the United States made me say, I've got to do my part with making sure Largely in my mind, I was thinking I need African Americans to reconnect with their traditions because we need this spiritual tradition to guide us, protect our families, all of that. And there's so many other people who want to be a part of this tradition. It is not limited just to people who have Afro or present Afro, because I believe we all originally came from Africa. So it's not just for that, but that's what made me say I need to do this because I need African Americans or Black people who know me, because not everybody is African American who I work with, but they need to be able to tap into the traditions of their ancestors. Um, and you'll learn more because I'm going to do a small little launch because I need people to understand. I need people to understand who I am as an Orisha priestess, and I need y'all to understand what I'm going to expect of you, and I need you to understand what you can expect of me, because people would just be putting stuff on spiritual guides, is what I call myself. I was going to say spiritual leaders, but I'm a guide, because then that way I get to leave all the power in your hand about your life. But there are some things that I need people to understand because I just want this to be easy. I want people to come in, go through the spiritual process that I'm going to take you through, get your lekes, and be feeling confident and strong about it. Okay. So if you're interested, join the wait list. I will send a couple of emails to my main list, but the majority of the people who will get emails from me about this, they're going to be, you need to be on the wait list. Okay. So sorry to take up so much time. But, yeah, it's time for me to start talking about it. I refused to do this before the retrogrades were over. Now they're over. So let's go on ahead and segue into the astrology. Woohoo! This is the first um, time that I've led or made a video this year where there wasn't uh, a retrograde. Maybe, and I don't even think it was in February. There was a point when Mars had just ended its retrograde, but Venus was starting within like 4 or 5 days. So it was like we were not really out of retrograde at that point. So yay, I can even feel the difference. I can feel the difference. It feels so good. So yes, we have Venus direct. Mercury went direct on the 7th. And so now all the planets are direct. Pretty soon, Pluto is going to go retrograde. But when the outer planets go retrograde, it's not as, we don't feel it as much as we do the visible planets. So planets are direct. Hopefully, you're kind of feeling like, okay, life can start now in 2025, even though it's been a trip and a half. It has been, I knew it was gonna be wild and crazy, but wow. Wow, wow, wow. This is incredible. So yes, we also had that full moon. We had that full moon this past weekend also. So we're in the waning phase of the moon at this point. And so I do want you to be thinking about, what do you want to release? What do you want to let go of? I want you to see this as the time just before we get to that new year, when you're kind of assessing, taking stock, and thinking about the lessons that you've learned, thinking about the new direction that you want to go in, what is going to go with you and what is not going to go with you. Because what's going to happen is we're going to get to this new moon in Taurus down here on the 27th of April. And that is a manifesting moon. If I've ever seen one, that is one. It's always a manifesting moon because Taurus is the most inert sign in the zodiac. It is the most earthy sign. It is fixed. It is earth. Okay. So you can use it to manifest greatly. If you are struggling with being abundant and feeling abundant, this is the moon for you. I don't know if you've been seeing the posts that I've been making about being, the spiritual DJ. I'll pull that up. But one of the things that I want y'all to understand is that we still have to dream. I have really struggled, and I'm not making a secret about it, with so much of what we've seen happening in the world. It has felt scary. It has felt uncertain. I've been angry and frustrated and grief stricken. And what the astrology is telling me is I can never forget to dream and hold that dream. And that is the message I have for you. And the music that I'm sharing is largely about this Neptune energy and having a dream, as well as Aries, because Neptune and Saturn are both eventually going to be in Aries. This Venus and Mercury retrograde have been going between Aries and Pisces. Actually, Neptune and Saturn are going between Aries and Pisces. And even Pisces is the sign of dreams. And Aries is the sign of action. It's the sign of being brave. It's the sign of being bold. So I just want to encourage you to continue to dream. And we are the ancestors to come. And so, what are the descendants? Doesn't matter if you have children or not. What are they going to say about us? What are we dreaming for them and their lives? We've got to have a dream for our own lives. We've got to believe. We've got to know that it is good to make plans, even in the midst of the world seeming like it's in chaos. There is a higher power in action. And so we just have to know and believe if that higher power can keep this world spinning, this earth planet that we're on, this beautiful planet that we're on, spinning in generation after generation after generation of people continuing to live, procreate, and leave culture and leave signs and have a vision for the future. It can do that for you. It could do that for me. It could do that for anybody. So I just want y'all to know, let go of what you don't need. There is an Odu. It is called ED, and the Odus are out of the tradition I was just talking about, the EFI tradition. ED is about putting a seal on a thing. It's about completing it, putting a seal on it, and saying, hey, what is it that I need to release and let go of and never look back? For those who are raised up in the Christian tradition, you can kind of think about when Lot was leaving and God said, don't turn around and look back because you'll turn into a pillar of salt. Sometimes you got to have that thought of, if I turn around and I look back, I'm going to turn into a pillar of salt. And it never hit me until this now moment. His wife, we'll call her Lottie. Lottie turned around and looked at the place where they used to live, and they were leaving, and God said, don't turn around and look. Lottie turned back and she looked, and she turned into a pillar of salt. And what does that symbolize? It's like she's been villainized for doing that. But what does it actually really symbolize? It symbolizes how we could just get stuck. So where are you stuck? Where do you need a breakthrough? Where do you need to get some action, get some oomph, have that courage, say, I'm moving on. I'm moving forward. That's Aries. Aries doesn't want to look back. Aries is like, let's go, right? So these are the kinds of things that you want to be thinking about over the next 2 weeks until we get to that new moon in Taurus. Learn the lesson. Odu O'Shea. You got to learn the lesson, turn that wound, turn that failure, turn that problem into wisdom, and use that wisdom to continue to help lead, guide, and direct you. So Mercury is now back in Aries. Let me find Mercury. Let me get my little chart. Okay, before I show you the chart, let me just say, I'll put this link here. I need to update this actual page. But there's a link that will take you to the full playlist. And yeah, so make sure you keep up with this playlist because I created it for 2025. We need this. Okay, back to what we were talking about. So Mercury is at 0 degrees of Aries. And look, it is conjunct, which means it's right there, 0 degrees, Neptune. So with Mercury being right there at 0 degrees, first of all, it is in the um, shadow period, the post retrograde shadow period. And so what that means is that we are integrating the lessons that we have learned, the things that came up for Mercury. I want you to think about the mind. Mercury is the mind, so maybe it's thoughts. This is something you've been pondering something and now you have some clarity and now you need to integrate these thoughts. You need to make these thoughts that are perhaps more new and improved. You need to make them a part of your psyche. We also have, or Mercury is also relationships and connections. So maybe there's something that you had to address about connections, relationships, those kinds of things. It could be with siblings, cousins, friends, neighbors, coworkers. It's people who you're peers with. So maybe that was a topic that came up for you. It's in a way, it's so challenging to really like decide what was the Mercury retrograde topic versus what was Venus because they've been retrograde at the same time. But Mercury is the mind and it rules those kinds of relationships. Maybe it has something to do with some type of communication. That is something that is distinct to Mercury, has something to do with communication. So what is it that you're integrating? Maybe Mercury is this planet that you can improve or adjust things. So you just want to be thinking about that, okay? What is it that maybe you were like, "Oh, I really do need to fix that." And that will be helpful for you to integrate. So then there's Venus. Venus is more about one-to-one um relationships. They're more a little bit I don't wanna say more intimate because I think sibling relationships are very intimate, but it would be more of like, a partner, friends, definitely interpersonal relationships, but to me, the Venusian relationships, a lot of times, they go a little bit deeper. Now, if you have clients, Venus could be more about clients, and it could have brought up topics around that. And of course, she's moving direct. Now, she is conjunct this north node. So that is it's again the north node. I said I was going to make just a whole recording about this north node because I need y'all to understand something. This north node will have you feeling almost like imposter syndrome. I think what we need to really be watching for is imposters. um I think we're going to see a lot of posers because of this North Node in Pisces over the next year, year and a half. But there's definitely a spring, a new beginning, but it's on the inside of you. So I want you to be thinking about these kinds of things. It's definitely this energy of renewal that is afoot. So take advantage of this energy. So going back to this Mercury, Mercury is conjunct Neptune. Now, this is absolutely all about it can spiritualize your mind. It can have you connecting it's like your intuition and your logical mind, they're a little bit, they're working in tandem, okay? So it could have you extremely creative in this moment, but I want you to just open yourself up to this week. Well, especially right now, this is Wednesday, April 16th. So open yourself for the next couple of days, maybe through Friday. What is spirit saying to you? If you've been looking for a word, if you've been looking for a message, that that time is here now. The other thing is it could have you feeling a little bit groggy, cloudy, slow, but maybe you need a rest break, right? Mercury is going to move past that and you'll start feeling your mind start clicking a little bit more. So that is definitely something I want you all to be thinking about and doing. I want y'all to journal. I want you to take that time to journal, write it down. I really do believe I'm just gonna go with Erica Badu said this, write it down and watch ish happen. Write it down. If you haven't created, like the New Year's, whatever you do for New Year's intentions and rituals and that kind of thing, this is a great time for that. I haven't. I'll be honest. I'm just 100 with you all. And it was just because I was in retrograde mode. And now I'm feeling like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to write. I have these little sometimes it's a little piece of paper, but have these little posters and I write it all out. And then I have a wall, and this wall is in feng shui, is my success wall. And so I put it all there, and then I go into Canva and create this vision board, and I have Canva send it to me. So, yes, going ahead and do that if you haven't done that yet. This is like such a great time to do it. This energy of renewal. Um, it's the energy of and I tell you what, here's a pro tip. I want you to start like bringing it all together. You create it and then do a special ritual at that new moon. Okay. Do a special ritual of like spring ritual at the new moon. That would be perfect. All right. So, yeah, Mercury is conjunct Neptune. I just think when Mercury, even though it's in Aries, so Aries is not scammy. It is more of a let's get up and go type of energy. But still, Mercury and Neptune, they're very fluid, adaptable type of planets. So I want you to be real cautious. The other day, I got an email and it looked so legit, but I just could not verify it. I just said, I'm not going to click on this link. It was saying that some purchase was made via my my PayPal account, and I thought I'm looking and I don't see a purchase on my PayPal account, and it was for crypto. On my business account, there's nothing about crypto. Maybe my personal account, you can buy crypto, but I don't see that ability in my business account. So I just said I'm not gonna do it. Watch for scams. I have given y'all's weekly reminder. Don't be scammed. If it doesn't look right, it may not be right. So I do want y'all to kind of know that. But oh, that brings in fire because you can see here Mars in Leo. So that's bringing in more fiery energy. Mars goes into Leo on the 18th. Now, whether y'all know this or not, Leo is still, excuse me, Mars is still in its shadow time, its shadow period. It's got a little bit ways more to go. But now that it's back in Leo, we're so much closer. So let's see here. I'm just gonna pull up and see when does it get to 7 degrees. Let's go into May. So once we get to May 4th, then that Mars will be out of its shadow period. So we still have about, looks like about 2.5 weeks to go. Okay. So, but we have um, Mercury, Neptune, the sun, not for much longer, the sun. And then they're in Aries. And then we're going to have Mars go into Leo. So that will be bringing fire, inspiration. It'll feel like we have come out of the darkness and into the light. It will bring some great energy. I will say today, the 16th, Mars is on that 29th degree of Cancer. So don't be surprised if you hear something crazy. Like I know everything sounds crazy here in the United States, but every time Mars is on the 29th degree, I just don't know. I don't really like it. I don't. It could bring about some really traumatic stuff, right? So just putting it out there. I don't remember what happened the last time it was on the 29th degree. It was there, right? I want to say in November. It was on the 29th degree. And we are, just to be honest with you, once Mars moves into this Leo, we're moving closer and closer to Mars being opposite Pluto. And let's see here. That's gonna be where are we? Right here? Yeah, I'm just gonna say once Mars goes there, we would need to get to actually right around the May 1st or 2nd, maybe May 2nd, May 3rd, something like that, to be out of the Mars opposition, Pluto, which is very, very serious. Mars was opposition Pluto on the dreaded day. I call it the dreaded day called November the 5th. And there was another time, it was right at the top of the year. And I want to say we started the new year out with this. And I don't know if y'all remember what happened on January 1st. It was some crazy news headlines, very violent. So just send out some prayers and energy for healing and peace. I think that what will happen is even more protests. It's just going to get amplified because it is truly, you know, Pluto is very transformational. It's in uh, Aquarius, which is the people. It's like rebellion, and it's the more powerful of the two. Don't get me wrong. So maybe it's world protests going everywhere. It's worldwide protest against governments is just rampant in many places in the world. And it's just a lot of protest in different ways. It's like the time of protest. And so then Mars is going to go opposite in the sign of the king. So people who are leaders, it's going to be the people against the one. And so let's just see what's going to happen because Mars is extremely violent. So I just think that we really need to be praying for peace, and we need to be praying for, power to the people. Y'all know I don't lie. I let y'all know who I am and what I believe in. Power to the people. But personally, I mean, just everybody take good care of yourself. It could be an extremely stressful time once Mars goes into Leo. Now, once it gets about 2 degrees, maybe about 5 degrees of, nah, I'm going to say about 6 degrees of Leo, which is where it started the retrograde. Wow. It won't be interacting with that Pluto, but that's really serious. Just take it easy, be mindful of how you're moving, just be very intentional on how you're moving. And but the other part is it can help you to really get quite a bit done. So let's see, when is that exact? Let's see the calendar. When does it have Mars opposite Pluto? On the 26th. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just giving y'all a little heads up. So yeah. Um we'll only get one day with the sun being there where we have all that fiery energy, and then the sun goes into Taurus on the 19th. Happy Taurus season. Happy New Year. Happy birthday to all the Tauruses, sun, moon, and ascendants. It's your time. It's your day. Yay, 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 Tauruses. I love Taurus season. It's so sensual. It's so decadent and luxurious and pleasurable. Okay. As a Taurus moon, baby, I'm really having to me I need Venus to move on out of Pisces because my little sweet tooth is trying to get me in trouble. I'm kind of doing my best to, not go crazy, but yeah, I need that. Anywho, we all will have a little bit of a sweet tooth maybe when Sun is in Taurus. So yeah, that's a money sign. So maybe if you want to be focusing on your money, your finances, your self-worth, your self-value. Those are all things that are connected to that personal finance. The other thing about Sun and Taurus is Um, it's about self-care and what you eat. So you can use this as a season to be working on, looking at your self-care routines, looking at how you're eating. And it is about your material possessions. So you want to take that time to assess where, like, do you have too much stuff? Because Taurus can make you hoard. So do you need to purge? Do you need to clear? Maybe with all this fire energy, you'll want to, take some action and get rid of some stuff or upgrade your stuff or whatever. Maybe, for some of us, in my mind, I'm even thinking that with all of my way of dealing with this current time is I'm withholding my dollars unless I'm spending with people who, as much as I can, I'm doing my best to spend with small owned businesses, or honestly just not to spend my money. And if I do, spend it with people who have the same values as me. But it's making me feel like I want to get back to doing more, like make my own clothes. Okay, y'all want to tariffs take the price of clothing up, and I don't want to be supporting people who are working in sweatshops. I can't change it all, but what I can do is what I can do. Maybe I'm gonna get back to sewing. I just think it's Taurus is that time where we can kind of think about, what is it that we can do to be more mindful with our stuff? Maybe we need to just I can't remember that book, but Marie Kondo, I think is her name. It's like take that time to really just sit, like, do I really need this book? And am I going to use it again? And what would be the best way if I don't want this book? What would be the best way? Who would really love to have this book? Because maybe it's not just about taking it to Goodwill. Maybe it's like finding a good home for it in some kind of way. But that Taurus energy is slow and it's methodical. It's very intentional. That's why you cannot rush a Taurus. They're just like they want to smell the flowers, they want to take in the scenery. Do not rush a Taurus. They're very sensory people. We are very sensory. And I just think this is the time when we're thinking about all this stuff that consumerism has, moved us to buy. Like, are we really being with it? Why is it important to us? What are we doing with it? And, it's like just take that time to be with it and see what are you being led to do with all of your material possessions. Okay. Taurus is not necessarily it's a conservationist. It really is actually. But it's not super frugal like Capricorn. Capricorn is like, we don't need nothing here we don't need. We're only gonna buy what we need. Taurus likes comfort. All right. Taurus likes things to be a little bit pretty and luxurious. So it's not so much about being a minimalist so much, but it is about being intentional with your stuff, and you can use this season to do that. Okay, so let's see here. Mars will trine Neptune at this time on the 19th. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So yeah, Mars trine Neptune, lovely, because they're both in fire signs. Where's my little thing? They're both in fire, and that brings a lot of creative energy. Aries is creative, Leo is creative, Mars, Neptune, creative. So it's like bringing a lot of blessed energy. Maybe something will manifest that you've been wanting to manifest. Um, but I think it can bring energy, even with it being Neptune. It's it's like the energy of Maya Risha, the goddess that I'm initiated into, Yemonja, where it's like you're taking action, but you're very relaxed. Sometimes the action that we take is frenetic, it's stressed, it's intense, especially when we're dealing with something like Aries or Mars. But then there's times when we can just take that action and there's a deep knowing. This is why Yemaja is so relaxed because she has a certainty about herself. She knows she has a deep faith. That's Neptune. It's like take action with deep faith, and you don't need to be, excuse me, stressed. You can just take your time and be easy about it. So yeah, that will feel good. I think it even bring this energy of like having fun and maybe even fun, like watching movies or doing something creative. So take advantage of that. This is the kind of energy I think a lot of us will feel like I've been waiting for this moment. I've been waiting to feel this way this year. Okay, so the next one is Venus sextile Uranus, which is right there with this Mars trine Neptune, because that will give us a little bit of energy also. Venus is in Pisces, and she brings ease and flow, and she doesn't want to be doing too much. Her thing is like, hey, let's just take it easy. Let's be harmonious. But she is this energy of joy. And so she's in Pisces, which is this energy of being laid back and compassion. And it's a childlike type of sign, to be honest with you, because again, it's this sign that has to do with God's got it. The great mother's got it. There's a higher power in action. It's got it. And I don't have to worry about anything. I can just trust all my needs will be taken care of. And she is going to be interacting with Uranus, which is actually in her sign. She is in charge of Uranus right now. And so with Uranus being there, Uranus is energy, it's electricity. It's like, hey, let's shock and let's do things all of a sudden. So it could bring like sudden connections. We were talking about earlier how both Mercury and Venus have us looking at our relationships. And so maybe some pleasant surprise will happen on around that time because Venus is interacting with Uranus. Or maybe Pisces is miracle. So maybe it's a little bit of a miracle that happens around money, but you've got to do something. This money is not going to just come and land in your lap. You've got to be willing to do something to actually secure it. Or if it's not money, something around abundance. Maybe something will happen and you'll get this message. You are worthy. You are valuable beyond measure. It could bring that kind of energy. So this is one of the reasons I love doing these kinds of videos, because it makes me feel like, or I get to be reminded, because I don't necessarily do this if I don't make videos. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this next week. Okay, so we're going to have Mercury sextile Pluto. Now, the reason Mercury is sextiling Pluto is because Mercury is now here in Aries, and it's going to be interacting with this Pluto up here in Aquarius. So we're going to have fire and we're going to have air. They complement one another. And so it can bring about an empowered mind. But again, it's like you've got to do something to embrace that empowered mind. When you deal with the sextile is 60 degrees, when you're dealing with the planets that are 60 degrees from one another, it doesn't just land in your lap. You have to be willing to do something. Or maybe there's like something supportive that comes in that helps you. You're struggling with your mindset, and Pluto comes in or something comes through, and somebody brings a message to you to help boost your mind. Well, are you going to receive the message and allow your mind to be boosted? Because Pluto wants you to feel empowered, and it wants you to it wants you to feel empowered. It wants you to transform things also. And so, but you've got to be willing to embrace it. Now, the other thing about this combination is there's definitely something I think about the news that could come through. So don't be surprised if you hear some. I want to believe that it would be good news. I really do, because there's so many good um transits happening around this time. I want to believe it'll be good news. So yeah, just open yourself up, because Aquarius is news broadcasting. It's like broadcasting a message. The other thing about these two is both of these, the Aquarius and the Aries, they're very innovative. So it could be something highly innovative at that time that's coming through and supporting you, or you could be very innovative. So it's definitely a lot of energy around innovation, creativity. I love that. And again, I want y'all to use all of this to help you. Maybe this is all, I'll say it this way. Maybe all of this is happening because it's giving us that opportunity to really have that fresh new start as we prepare ourselves for this upcoming new moon in Taurus. Because this is amazing energy. I will say some of it is still retrograde energy though. So that's why I guess I'm like, yeah, we need to be using it to get this insight and to maybe get this clarity that a lot of us have been looking for, to really feel this connection with spirit. And, maybe there's like this inner transformation that needs to happen, but it's not going to be until the new moon that we actually do the ritual work to really get things set. I would say some of the best ritual work, number one, by all means, journal. Write a lot of this down because I think a lot of where you need to head is going to be given to you today. But do some releasing type of ritual work. Um, do some work that's about renewing and regenerating yourself. These are the kinds of things that we need to be doing right now in preparation for that new moon. And I just say all this because this is, to me, how astrology supports a goddess-centered lifestyle. For me, there's all these cycles that we work with, and it's like, how do you keep yourself decent and in order? How do you work with the energy? And so when you embrace having a goddess-centered lifestyle, then, this is how you're going to be. This is what you do. Yes, all this good energy is here in a waning time period. Well, I'm not going to be doing a whole lot before I get to that new moon that's about forward motion and direction. That, I mean, it's a lot of action I will take, don't get me wrong, because sometimes you just gotta take it when it shows up. This is one of those weeks, but the overarching energy for me right now is waning because of this moon. And when we work with these moon cycles, that's how we can kinda keep our energy flowing. And it's just best before we, it's just best for us to be using this time as I've been describing it so that you can really, I call it set it, really get it integrated where the universe is like, okay, got it. Let's go at that new moon. Okay. So, uh, big deal. Big. Oh no, sun square Mars. And so because the sun moves into Taurus, then it is going to square Mars. And all I can say is that's going to be something that's asking you to get out of your comfort zone. That's really what that kind of connection is because of the signs. They're fixed signs. They don't like to, I know people like to talk about Leo, but Leo is like a pillar. I want you to think about the sun. The sun rises, it sets, it rises, it sets. It is very consistent, it is loyal, it is faithful. And so is Taurus. Taurus doesn't want to be doing too much. It's kind of like if we don't have these fixed signs, everything is constantly changing all the time. So they bring fixity, but when we have, this fiery sun meeting with Mars in fixed signs, oh baby, it's time to get out your comfort zone. It's time to get up, take some action, get unstuck. So that's how I want y'all to use that transit. Big deal. We have Saturn conjunct Rahu. So I talked about that in another video. I'm not going to talk about it too much. I think I will I'm pretty sure I pulled out an excerpt, so I'll just put the excerpt out. But I don't want to say this is a once in a lifetime transit, but it is very rare that we see Saturn conjunct Rahu. And honestly, I've been doing astrology now for 9 years. In this 9 years, I've never seen Saturn conjunct Rahu. This is my first time as an astrologer seeing this, or a student of astrology seeing this. So Saturn conjunct Rahu. Saturn is all about cycles. You know, if we don't see that we're in some new world, I don't like that word, new world order, because I always connect it to them talking about the people who are in charge and making it feel like people who just live regular lives, or, the lives that we live. We're not in charge of governments and stuff like that. We have no control. But in a way, it's kind of like I just gotta accept. If we can't see that it's a new world order, this is gonna help us to see it. Saturn meeting with Rahu is incredible because Saturn is the planet of cycles, and it's sort of like the fixed signs. It's tried, it's true. Saturn doesn't want to be doing a whole bunch of new stuff, and it's kind of like, you need to it's step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, so on and so forth. That's what we do. And that's how you get to success. It's the mountain goat climbing up a mountain. How do you get there? Step by step by step by step. And it's meeting with Rahu, which is the poser. This says Rahu North Node, if you want to use that term. But the story about Rahu is it's a poser. It wanted to be a god, and it just acted like it was a god, and it's very voracious and very driven. And so Rahu meeting with Saturn is definitely bringing about this energy of new beginnings. Rahu is the same energy as spring. And so it's really continuing to bring in a time where people will look at the history books and just be like, wow, I wonder what it was like to live back then. And I've been listening to a lot on Stoics, and I heard something today and I was like, wow, this is so good. I think it was I can't think of the Stoic's name. I really should remember his name, but this particular Stoic was told that he would eventually one day have conversations with dead men. And it turned out that he was to study the ancient Stoics. And so right now is one of those moments. I think it's just so important for us to understand that we are at a juncture where people will wish they could have conversations with us. I really do think it's important for us to write down, put it down in a book, or have a blog of some sort, and share a little bit about this time, because there's a corner that we're turning, and it's just a lot of new stuff going on. One thing that I didn't say that is coming to me is, in all the astrology classes that I've taken, Saturn is the planet of the oppressed. And a lot of times it's connected to Black people. I mean, in a way, I never thought about it. Sometimes I've been offended, but I've never thought about this. Saturn is a planet that's associated with, let's say, Capricorn. All right. Capricorn is essentially the um the dinosaurs of the zodiac. It knows how to survive like nobody's business. And it's old and it's ancient. It's full of wisdom too. And so I guess I can see that. I guess I could see a lot of times Saturn is connected with oppressed people, but in a way, it's like, no, it's also the most ancient people on the face of the planet. But no matter what the ethnicity, Saturn is also connected to people who are oppressed. And so with Saturn meeting with Rahu, my little Jupiterian optimistic self wants to believe this is a new beginning for people who are oppressed. It's something new that will happen. The opposite could be true, because I just believe that the vibration right now of the collective consciousness, I think it's being awakened more, but we are not an awakened species. You know how they talk about if aliens were watching us, they'd be like, "Yeah, we're good. We don't need to go down there." These people are crazy. So if there's a lower vibration of manifestation of this, it could be unfavorable, but something new is definitely going to happen. Saturn rules governments, so something new with the governments. I would like to believe it would be more progressive. However, humanity has shown me maybe not. And I want to be positive and optimistic, but I don't want to get my hopes up. So Saturn would tell me, don't get your hopes up because y'all gonna get what you putting out there. But yeah, personally, it's starting a new cycle for all of us. Everyone's getting a whole new cycle. And so much of this is about the inner world because they're meeting in Pisces. Okay. They're meeting in Pisces. And that's the inner world, the inner landscape. And it's been a little challenging to me to see exactly what Saturn is doing. I feel like Saturn has really messed it up for a lot of nonprofits being in Pisces. I knew it was going to be hard, but I didn't know it was going to be this hard. But I just feel like nonprofits, I work at a nonprofit, they're so reliant on grants. And it's like, nope, y'all got to do it, find a whole new way to operate. Pisces is a sign that is about helping the downtrodden. And so, you know, I probably need to open myself up more to see how have the downtrodden been helped more. So, but Pisces is compassion and it's the subconscious mind. It has to do with spirituality and to a certain degree, I think it's a little bit of a religious sign. I didn't used to think that because a lot of Pisces can just be spiritual, not religious, but I do believe Pisces can be connected to religion and cults. I do feel that it has opened up a little bit more about that kind of thing. Pisces is also addiction. So it's kind of like the problematic areas. What has Saturn been trying to clean up in the way I've said it is the most messy area of your life. Saturn is been trying to clean something up. And so this connection with this North Node, Rahu, is going to be opening us up all to some new way of operating, some new way of being. It's a whole new structure because Saturn has to do with the structure of a thing. It also has to do with boundaries. And you could think about a plan. So it's something new in this regard coming to all of us. But Saturn, make no mistake about it. I know people love the personal astrology, but Saturn is a societal planet. This has more to do with society than anything. And I just want to give y'all the heads up about it. Then, last but not least, we're going to have the Sun square Pluto on April 23rd. And again, that's a little rough. That's a little rough. So we do have some nice transits, but it's a little rough. Starting on the 23rd. I mean, that week, April 20th through just the end of the month, just do a lot to take care of your nervous system and my thing about this year in particular is number 1, you got to be brave. This calls for a lot of bravery. I'll give 3. With the bravery, that's Aries. There's Saturn, which is connecting with Rahu. Saturn is, to me, the energy that's just kind of like you have to just be willing to be flat-footed and face whatever it is that you're having to deal with. Okay? So, yeah, that's that. And the other part is, let's see here, be brave. Oh, be flexible and adaptable. So you want to be brave. You want to be the Saturn, the other word I want to use for Saturn is tough. Saturn is tough, it's grounded, and it's kind of like, everybody, I need us to just be with what we're dealing with right here, right now. And we're not going to do anything else. We're not changing our plans. We're going to keep moving forward. So it's this energy of being with what is and not complaining about it. and we're all struggling. I'm not even acting like I'm not. I'm just like, ooh, Saturn is toughening me up. Wow. Our ancestors, they were really strong people, right? And then be flexible and adaptable. Very, very important at this time. And that week, April 20th through, I'm just going to say through the rest of the year. I mean, the rest of the month. It's just we might need to be a little bit flexible, adaptable, strong, brave, courageous, all of these words. This is not I love that we're going to get this time, today through Sunday. That looks like it feels a little bit ease and flow and feminine and intuitive actually, but we have to understand that there's going to be a lot more where it's like you've got to be brave, courageous, tough, and changeable and flexible. It's going to be a lot more of that this year. And this week is going to give us that practice. Okay. So let me just do a quick reading. I did not expect to talk this long, but I hope that what I've shared has been helpful. Okay. So I pulled the Sea Crone from my Mythical Goddess Tarot deck. Interestingly, the name of her card is called Resurrection, which this matches that energy of being in the waning moon period. But check this out. I'm just going to read this to you. It says, "The crone of seas rises from the ocean's depths, reborn through the dark night of the soul. She embodies heart transformation and resurrection from death into new form." So that's a little bit of what I've been talking about. I see in the astrology also. She is pure female being in expression. She is companion of the underworld, renewed and resurrected through massive emotional change. And the sea crone appears during powerful times of release and shift in your life. Let her lead the way through the murky depths of your personal underworld into the resurrection of your heart and expression. Welcome the change and renewal that is upon you. Y'all know whenever I do this live, we are always in awe at how on point the oracle, how crazy it is that the oracle could just be so on point with the reading. So I'm not going to speak much on that because I've spoken so much and the video is already so long, but you can see it matches. So then I pulled, now this is from the major arcana of this deck. It's called Sacred Fire, White Buffalo Calf Woman. She's connected to Leo. Leo. We just talked about Mars moving into Leo this week. So let me tell you what she says. Beautiful white buffalo calf woman embodies the passion of sacred fire. So, of course, we talked about there's going to be more fire this week. The Native American Holy One who teaches humankind to revere spirit through the honoring of Mother Earth. Now, what I like about that is this Taurus energy is about connecting with the earth. So get out there and connect with Mother Earth. Appearing over the horizon of two young Native men, White Buffalo Calf Woman came to earth in a pillar of light. Her purity consumed evil and transmuted it to ash. Her unwavering reverence for the sacred teaches the honoring of all life and the flame of life within, through sacred ritual. She personifies the eternal Leo fire and joy of desire for everything holy. So it's really a week to have reverence and yeah, really it's that Pisces energy. Lean into that spiritual energy of Pisces and have more sacredness. How do you bring more sacredness into your life? With her peace pipe and medallion of the four directions, The white buffalo calf woman brings the smoke of connection to the spirit world, carrying your prayers and passionate intent. Clothed in the purest white of buffalo skin, she brings peace through respecting the higher spirit and the sacred pipe. She teaches the care of the earth through discipline, ritual, and responsibility of the life force. Discipline, Saturn, ritual. We've been talking about ritual and preparing for it. Or maybe you're going to be doing some releasing rituals, but preparing to do rituals at the new moon. And responsibility of the life force. Responsibility, Saturn, life force, your ashe, your inner life force, your energy. So you want to be responsible for that, okay? You want to be responsible in how you use it. White Buffalo Calf Woman brings the fire of spirit to you through her strength and courage. I talked about being brave and courageous, being tough, but I'm going to say being strong also, thanks to what she's saying. These are all the things that are going to be coming up for us over this week. So what she wants to show you is that through the control over your hidden demons and reverence for the great divine, for the sacred, you honor and align with your essence and bring light to the darkness of the world. That's so interesting. Sometimes this one, I'm just like, what does this lady want me to do when I pull this card? It says, showing you that through control over your hidden demons, Pisces, and reverence for spirit, Pisces, you honor and align with your essence and you bring light to the darkness of the world. So it's really just about, to me, one of the best ways to navigate a time like this is what are you here to do? Do that. Okay. What's your mission? What are your gifts? What are your talents? Do that. And that will make all the difference in the world. That's the greatest thing that we can do. And each one of us is bringing something different. All right. So then the last one I pulled is it's called the Earth card, and it has 7 of Earth, and it has to do with failure. It says a majestic tree has withered and died, a thing of beauty never able to thrive and bear fruit. You see this tree, just think of a tree that you've seen that's died and it's not producing any leaves or anything. It's just dead, but it's still standing. And the card is kind of grayish looking. The picture on the card is grayish. In the climate of smog and concrete, the life cycle failed before it could fully come into form. There are times in life when relationships, cycles, and cherished endeavors are aborted, never to come into being, regardless of how much labor and love have nurtured it. Release your attachment to what could have been. It is essential to now face your failures. Let them go and move on. Open your eyes to new opportunities before you. So that's something else that I think a lot of us, and it's a good time because we're not waning moon phase. A lot of us will be dealing with over this next week. So thank you all so, so much for being here. I appreciate you. Hope that you have received something that will continue to support you as you move into your week. Again, if you want to be a part of the Aleka initiation or you want to get more information on it, you can just check the description box and there will be a link there for you to get on the list and get the email so that you can learn more. Also, you can see scrolling at the bottom, I have a membership. You can join it. And for instance, for the new moon, that's where I put all the new moon goodies, the new moon video, and I'm going to do something extra special. It's probably typically I have some little affirmations and a little oracle deck or a little workbook. I'll do something, but I definitely do just a few extra things inside of the membership because it's all about supporting you. And yeah, it's a great investment. I also recently added there my um the first little belly dance workout. So you can get belly dance workouts there too, because that's just a part of what I do. It's part of who I am. And it makes it fun. Spirituality should be fun. I get tired of it being boring. So yeah, please, you can check the description box there and learn more about the membership. I would love to have you. It's a very small investment because I want to make it affordable and I try to keep it simple. But yeah, just check it out and join me there. I invite you. And yeah, I think that's all I have for you all. I'm gonna take us out with some music and blessings of the great mother and ancestors be upon you and yours now and always. Have a wonderful rest of your week. And I'll be back live next week. See you then.